Depression is not caused by a chemical imbalance in the brain. Yep, no, this was all decided, man, decades ago at this point, right? Oh, it's a chemical imbalance in your brain that causes depression, anxiety. Don't worry about it, okay? The science has already been discovered. It's already been discovered. It's already been confirmed. You don't have to think about it anymore. And then, all of a sudden, somebody just decided to dig into all of this stuff, and then they debunked it. Wow. It's like for a very long time, you just kind of had that inkling now, didn't you? Didn't you think that, everybody walking around, oh, I'm depressed, duh. But what are you actually depressed about? Duh, I don't like my job. Well, how are you acquiring the skills? Are you working towards getting a different job? No, it's because I'm depressed. Or, oh, I'm so anxious about this upcoming project. I'm not done with it. I'm not finished yet. Well, why don't you work on it? Because I'm so anxious. Yeah, chemical imbalance, right? Or you're just obfuscating from the fact, and it's just an opportunity for Big Pharma to come in and push some pills on you and create a lifelong customer. Who could have possibly thought that was the case? Well, anybody with two fucking cents in their brain? Anybody with two functioning brain cells to rub together? Yeah, no, we came to this conclusion a long fucking time ago. These people on a certain part of the internet just kind of had this inkling that was out there, okay? I'm not saying that depression isn't real, okay? Depression, you feel depressed. You can feel anxious, okay? Those are legitimate feelings, okay? For as much as feelings really matter, okay? But clinical depression, clinical anxiety, okay? There's real legitimate mental illness that's out there. Bipolar disorder, the schizophrenia, okay? A mental fucking breakdown. Those things have their place. They have those diagnoses, okay? But just pushing pills on the vulnerable population out there that just have more excuses than solutions. Yeah, all of those psychiatrists that just knowingly pushed all of those pills for years. Guantanamo Bay right next to Deborah Birx and Anthony fucking Fauci. No chill whatsoever. Major depression is one of the most common psychological disorders, affecting more than 23 million adults and adolescents each year in the United States. Yeah, no, exactly. That's why 40% of women over the age of 35 are on SSRIs in some form or fashion. It is the most unhappy demographic of people that are out there. Why? Well, because their body's telling them one thing, society's telling them another, and they're just throwing their hands up in the air saying, I don't know, just take some fucking pills and some dick at the same time. Carries economic costs, hundreds of $billions, and a major risk factor for suicide. Yeah, no, exactly. While broads are out there hoeing it up, guys who think that they have no way out in life just decide to attach a toe trigger and swallow the end of a shotgun. Cause of depression has been long debated, and a common explanation that holds the culprit is chemical imbalance in the brain. The notion emerged, not coincidentally, in the late 80s with the introduction of Prozac. Wow! Prozac, Xanax, all the A's and I's and O's and fuck. Drug that appeared to be helpful in treating depression. Yeah, no, exactly. Happy pills, baby. They just take you away from everything. Why was that important? Because it takes you away from everything. It's a fucking sedation. Why do you think all these governments are just starting to push for all of this legalization of weed? Oh yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. Yep, all you need to do is just plug in it. Or what's the old saying? Tune out, plug in, turn off, something like that. It's the old saying for Gen X, right? That's when all the recreational drug use start to kick off right there. Yep, no, exactly. You don't think that all this shit is fucking orchestrated at these high levels? Yeah, exactly. A drug that appeared to be helpful in treating depression. This is Prozac once again. By increasing levels of brain neurotransmitter serotonin. Yeah, you just flood your brain with things that make you feel good instead of addressing the actual problems, okay? And then, yeah, no, it's a chemical imbalance. Well, except it isn't. Pushed heavily by the pharmaceutical industry, as well as reputable professionals, organizations such as the American Psychiatric Associated, well funded by Big Pharma. This storyline has since become a dominant narrative in regards to depression, accepted by the majority of people in the United States. Yeah, no, exactly, because you take a look at any social media bio out there, if you don't also see pronouns in it, you will also see mental health. Oh, you can't criticize anybody who has a mental health issue. Or if you want to criticize the mental health issue or try to get to the bottom of why there's so many fucking school shootings and a bunch of unhappy kids these days, Sound like an old man there for a second. No, instead of just drilling down to the actual problems that are there. No, just here, just a bunch of pills. Fucking evil motherfuckers. All of these people, all of the heads of these big pharma corporations, all of these psychiatrists that pushed all these shits, instead of getting to the fucking bottom issue, Guantanamo Bay. Fuck all of you. You ruined generations of kids, generations of people, generations of productive individuals who ended up eating a bullet or drooling into a pillow. You're all monsters and you fucking knew it. You fucking knew it too. Depression treatment, in turn, has leaned even more heavily on antidepressant medications, widely touted as the first best intervention approach. The idea that depression is caused by chemical imbalance in the brain, specifically lower serotonin levels, and can therefore be treated effectively with drugs and restore that balance, appeared for a while to be an all-around winner. Yeah, no, exactly. If you knew about this in the gestation of the 80s and nothing has really changed and it's just more and more people that are getting on these pills, did you really find a solution? Or did you just find that band-aid for that gunshot wound? You can get back to me at your own leisure. We provided clear answers for both physicians and suffering patients, an elegant explanation of the symptoms, and a readily available remedy in pill form. Pharma companies made money. Exactly. And again, this isn't coming from like a fringe publication or something. This is from Psychology Today, and name's up there in the top corner. So in case you need any sort of confirmation that this shit is legitimate, it's been making the rounds for a couple of weeks. I just needed to find a way to work it in. Before long, however, two non-trivial problems have emerged regarding this promising storyline. First, antidepressant drugs turned out to be far less effective in treating depression than once hoped and advertised. About half of the patients get no relief from these medications, and many of those who do benefit find the relief to be incomplete and accompanied by distressing side effects. Moreover, research has shown that drug effects are often no better than those achieved via placebo, and may not lead to a better quality of life in the long term. A 2010 review of the literature summarized meta-analysis of FDA trials suggests that antidepressants are only marginally effective compared to placebos, and document profound publication bias that inflates their apparent efficacy. Conclusions: the reviewed findings argue for a reappraisal of the current recommended standard of care of depression. Antidepressant medication is no miracle cure. Yep, it was supposed to be though. You fucking bastards. Second, the chemical imbalance hypothesis, the notion that the low serotonin causes depression and that antidepressants work by elevating those levels, has failed to find empirical support. Why did you push this to begin with? Oh, you were just trying to push some pills now, weren't you? Over the past several decades, research into serotonin depression link has branched out into multiple lines of inquiry. Studies have looked to compare levels of serotonin and serotonin products, as well as variations in genes involved in serotonin transport for depressed versus non-depressed people. Other studies sought to artificially lower serotonin levels by depriving their diets of amino acids required to make serotonin, looking to establish a link between low serotonin and depression. A recent 2022 exhaustive umbrella review, a review of the meta-analysis and other reviews of the diverse literature by Joanna Moncrief, somebody who did something good, of the University College London, and colleagues examined the accumulative evidence in all the above lines of inquiry. Their conclusions are clear. The main areas of serotonin research provide no consistent evidence of there being an association between serotonin and depression, and no support for the hypothesis that depression is caused by lower serotonin activity or concentrations. You bastards. You fucking bastards, dude. Lead author Joanna Moncrief said, "I think we can safely say that after a vast amount of research conducted over several decades, there is no convincing evidence that depression is caused by serotonin abnormalities, particularly by lower levels of reduced activity of serotonin. Many people take antidepressants because they have been led to believe their depression has a biochemical imbalance, but the new research suggests this belief is not grounded in evidence." I hate you all. I hate you all. Not the reviewer. She did something great for society, okay? Realizing that you can actually act on your depression and fucking fix it, okay? if you had a psychologist or a psychiatrist that was actually worth their weight, they would have got to those problems, okay? They would have got to the bottom of this before just, yeah, no, here, take Xanax or Zoloft, whatever it takes so you don't kill a motherfucker. You just go ahead and you just do it. Just go ahead and then just come back and get your fucking prescription refilled. And don't worry about it. I'll just eat my kickbacks while we're there, and we'll just continue to funnel people through my practice over and over and over again, you fuckers. The review did find a strong link between adverse and traumatic life events and the onset of depression. Yeah, no, exactly. Bad things that happen in your life, or even bad choices that you make in your life that lead you to a depressed state, doesn't create depression. It creates a depressed state in your psyche, something you can work in order to improve. Fuck's sakes. Which points to the possibility that environmental stress factors in the emergence of the disorder may more heavily than do internal brain processes. That should be championed from the fucking rooftops. Hey, look it, you're feeling depressed, you've been diagnosed with depression, guess what? The solution is totally within your control. This is great fucking news, okay? One interesting aspect in the studies we examined was how strong an effect adverse life effects played in the depression, suggesting low mood in response to people's lives and cannot be boiled down to a simple chemical equation. The upshot of this layperson is twofold. First, you should realize that while antidepressants may work for you, they're just masking the issue. You're not getting to the fucking bottom. You're not solving any issues that are here. It's just a sedation option for you. Just like alcohol is for some people, just like food is for other people, just like being fucking lazy and comfortable it is. All it is just putting you in this sedated state so you don't move, you don't try to achieve anything, that you just fucking exist. That's what they want from you. And by they, you know exactly what I fucking mean. Because a docile person is a controllable person. That's what they want. Anyone who tells you differently is lying to them, to you, or to themselves, or both. Yeah, no, exactly. If you have a legitimate mental health issue, okay, that's different. That is totally different, okay? But if you're not being honest with your physicians, if you're not trying to self-improve yourself, that's kind of redundant. If you're not trying to work towards in order to improve your current life situation, you deserve to be depressed. But don't be fucking looking for a solution at the bottom of a fucking bottle. Second, if you're a medical professional using the term chemical imbalance to explain depression, you're hearing a fictional narrative. Oh yeah, like a whole bunch of other fucking quacks that are out there that are just completely out of touch when it comes to their practice. Not scientific fact. Look for better quality care. I'm so glad that they decided to comb over this and come to this conclusion. Because to me, like I said this multiple times, this gives people hope, okay? You're in a shitty situation. Everybody has felt depressed before, okay? A loved one dies, a pet dies. You don't get that promotion that you want. You can't find a job in order to improve your situation, okay? You hate your job, you hate your life in any form or fashion. But you can always do something in order to improve your state. You don't just have to get on these experimental fucking drugs and become a lifelong customer of these big pharma companies who have no interest in ever getting you better, okay? They don't want to lose anybody. Somebody who's dependent is somebody who's going to pay. But again, now you can solve your own problems. You can get that mental hurdle out of your way. There's nothing wrong with you. There's just something wrong with your situation. And guess what? You can do with bad situations. You can fucking fix them and make them better for yourself. So take that as a little bit of a hope. And with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.